Hello, Canadian friends. So I apologize that it's taken me so long to get back to you. If it's crazy here, that's just the reality. So what I wanted to do was send you something to talk through some of the changes and thought process that we're going through in hockey. And so here's what we have is a rink diagram that it's a little different than some, but it's used by a lot of different places. And the idea is to identify different areas that the puck is in and start to figure out a little bit more systematically how do we approach goaltending. And so what I would say is this. What we want to take a look at is if this puck is here in zone 1, the question becomes what situation should I be in? So the questions that I like to ask my goalies is this. What is my depth? What is my angle? And I also want to ask, what kind of stance do I have? And by stance, we mean things like standing. Do we mean a butterfly? Do we mean a VH, which is kind of fallen out of favor, but I still think there's a time and a place somewhat for it. And then there's the new wave, which is really old for Sweden, but really new here in North America. In some places, they still haven't really started using it yet, but this reverse VH. So the question is going to be things like, if this puck here is in zone 1, where do I want to be? And I think that the best way to approach this is simply thinking about what is your unique game? What are you afraid of? And how are you going to solve this problem? And I don't know if it's enough to just say, well, the puck is there, because the question is, how did it get there? So let's say it started with a guy moving here from zone 2 into zone 1. Then we want to say, well, okay, well, what am I afraid of now? What things do we have? And some questions we have to ask is, are they on their off wing? Right? Where's my D? Where's my D in my center? Where's my help? And then, once we get into that, then what are the things they like to do? But in a generic, when somebody's moving on that path from zone 2 to zone 1, the question really becomes, can they beat my defenseman? They've probably beaten somebody out of the corner here. Do I have somebody that's sealing this area right here to prevent them from walking up? And if they are, then I'm probably worried about, maybe a pass. Maybe they're going to skate it to the back door. And so in those situations, if that's what I'm worried about, maybe I'm going to stay on my feet. So looking back over here at these questions, well, maybe at that point I'm going to stay standing, right? Because I'm not worried about this stuff, and I can easily shuffle over to the post or reverse to the post, or more importantly, if it's a pass out, I can step up. Another option he would have is to cycle it back. Not too many players are going to do that too much if they're driving to the net. We always want to get closer. But you can see a unique situation here that would lead me to maybe say, maybe I'm going to stay on my feet. Well, that changes slightly depending on what they do. So we've got a puck here, and now it gets here, but I have no help in this area. So now I have to worry about this jam play or this walk out front. So maybe instead of staying on my feet, I'm going to pick this RVH. I'm going to drop down with my right leg in this case here. And then we have to answer the question, well, what kind of angle do you want? Do you want your back leg out, very vertical? Or do you want your back leg on this post, sticking straight into the middle of the net? And those are the type of questions we answer. And we want to be a little bit more analytical. Now, I can't really tell you exactly what each one of you should do because it depends on how good are you in your RVH, how good are your edges, how tall are you. I'm 6'2", so I can be in a RVH a little bit longer than other players because of my height, but I'm also 40 and fat, so I'm not going to be able to get in and out of it as quick as other players, so maybe I'm going to be late going into it because of that. I want to make sure they commit. So we talk about each of these zones as presenting a problem. And what we want to do is develop kind of a unique game plan based on your strengths and weaknesses. So there's zone 1. Well, here's a puck at zone 2. So the question is, where would my stance be? Now, my personal thought is, why would we be in an RVH with one leg down in the net and one leg here when really this player with the puck in zone 2, he doesn't have any shooting angle. So I shouldn't be worried about a shot. What I should be worried about is some kind of movement, a pass, right? Maybe a movement where he skates up and around. And if those are the things I'm worried about, well, being down on one knee sure isn't going to help me. That's not really going to do me any good because now I have to come out of it. So I tend to teach my goalies that, hey, when that puck is in zone 2, you probably don't need to be down. Now, as that player is moving from zone 1 to 2, we have to be aware, is he, quickly able to turn and fire, things like that. So if he turns his back and he's, towards the corner and I'm already in an RVH, maybe that's the time to get up. On the other hand, if I'm standing on the post, I've got my back leg right here in the middle at a 45-degree angle. So my chest is square. But why would I want that? Well, because now that puck comes to this spot here. Now my chest is square. That pass comes here for a shot. My chest is already closer to square. And by standing, I can quickly adjust my depth in or out. Zone 4 is typically going to be a situation where we've got, either a zone entry where they're coming in, or, that puck somehow cycled back up top. Well, this is where there's no reason to be in a VH. There's no reason to be in a butterfly. There's no reason to be in a reverse because this person is out, and we want to have enough depth, and you have to find your comfort level on depth. But you want to have enough depth that you can take away a lot of angles. And this person typically isn't going to just walk in. That's probably not going to happen. They're going to have some kind of a pass to a partner. They're going to have a pass to the half wall. They'll have a shot to the net. And all of those things are going to require you to move into that play. Now, you'll notice we kind of have a baseball-looking home plate in the middle here. And part of the big change in how we analyze goaltending is looking at the type of shots that we face. So having a 92 save percentage is good, obviously, but how do we analyze two goalies who have a 92% save percentage? Well, part of that is looking at where the shots are coming from. A goalie who's facing a whole lot of shots there and stops 92% is working a lot harder than goalies who are facing shots from out there and has a 92%. Because we would expect that we have an easier time stopping those pucks from zones 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, zone 6 is our danger zone because they get those shots in there. This is kind of that kill zone. And so we will change our strategy a little bit based on that. But one of the things we want to do is look at how our team plays, what type of shots we're facing. So the big question, Trent, that you asked me was about this T-glide versus butterfly slide. Or excuse me, T-glide versus shuffle. And that's hard because I don't want to give you a set answer. I wanted to show you a little bit what one Finnish school of thought was, which is really getting rid of 99% of T-glides. And I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I like a lot of it. But I still tend to think there are times to think about it. So you'll notice as I draw this diagram, the rink is divided in half. And the term that they're using now for this is this idea of the Royal Road. And the idea that so many passes, estimates, or so many goals, some of these estimates are as high as 50% of goals scored in the NHL occur when the puck crosses that line, right? So the idea is, how do I get a goalie who's here and going to stop it to miss? Well, I can move that puck over and hit that back door. That goalie's got to work a lot harder than if I simply come here and shoot. Well, that's kind of common sense. So how do we move? And I guess my thought is it should be as quick and as simple a move as possible. So a couple of rules of thumb that I like to think about. Number one, Let's say that puck moves from zone 2 here over to about the hash here. Well, if I've chosen my starting point as here, all I need to do really is kind of C-cut out. Because I already should be square. Maybe I have to roll this foot a little bit, so I'm square to that shot, but maybe a little shuffle off the post just to make sure that I am dead center between the puck and the center of that net. If that puck moves from zone 2 up high to zone 4, well, again, my thought isn't T-glide versus shuffle. My thought is simplest, fastest move to that spot. And to me, again, if I'm starting here to here, and I've got to get centered on this, well, to me, that's a nice, easy shuffle to get there. It does become a little bit more complex as we get closer to moving towards that Royal Road, because our foot, our lead foot, has to open to point us in the right direction. So now you can ask the question, is this a T-glide or is this like a modified shuffle? Well, to me, that's all semantics. What I would say is this, is I don't want to shuffle to here and then have to turn and shuffle to here to get square to that puck. So what I would want to do is I would want to take the simplest path. Here's my right foot. Here's my left foot. I'm going to open that and I'm going to point, much like a T-glide, so I stop. I'm going to bring it here. I'm just going to end up in kind of a shuffle, but it's an open. It's not this gigantic lift my front leg and push across. As this puck goes from, say, zone 2 over here, well, my toe naturally is going to get parallel to that, and I'm going to push out and stop, and that's going to look obviously a lot more like a T-glide. So are T-glides dead? No, I wouldn't say so. But I would say this, challenge yourself, think about this. If we have a defenseman here, and a defenseman here, and that puck starts over on our left D, I'm drawing from the goalie's perspective, because that's what we're thinking about, right? So the left point from our perspective. And I'm sitting here, square, and he passes D to D. My biggest concern is a one-timer. And am I faster opening my foot, pushing, closing my foot, and stopping than I am just making shuffle, shuffle, where my feet, toes stay straight? And I would tell you this, I would challenge you to videotape it with coach's eye or something like that and take a look and see, is he really faster with the T-glide, with that extra move in the middle, than he is with 2 hard shuffles? I would also say this, the one thing I have 100% gotten rid of is this. So let's say that puck is at our lefty, and he passes that puck down low. As I'm approaching that net, there is no way that I want to open my foot to T-glide and then potentially have to close it to get into some kind of butterfly position. Instead, I should be able to shuffle, which turns into an awful easy butterfly slide if I have to. So here's my rules that I tell our goalies to think about. And again, the key is think about. If that puck is going horizontal, shuffle, or butterfly slide. If that puck is going deep, shuffle, or butterfly slide. If that puck is going away from you and across, that might be a reason to T-glide. So, drawing a bunch of lines here, I would say this. When should I T-glide? Yeah, go ahead. Nope. Nope. That doesn't mean it's right. You have to decide as a goalie what is best for you. But I would say, don't just assume that a T-glide is faster than a shuffle. I would say don't assume any of this stuff. Take a look at what you're able to do in practice. Are there NHL goalies who T-glide across? Yep. Are there times for it? Yep. You have to find what works best for you. The most important thing I would say is this. Take a look and maybe print out something like this for the boys and have them do this. And that puck is in zone 1. What is my stance? What is my depth? Where is my chest pointing or my angle? What am I worried about? What have I taken away? So what are my strengths? In other words, come up with a game plan for all of these situations and think about, what am I going to do? You could even do this. What am I going to do when a puck comes from zone 1 to zone 6? 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. How am I going to play those situations? What are my big concerns? How am I going to get there? What am I worried about giving up? And what are the tools in my toolbox to try and help me? Well, boys, I hope that helps you out. Obviously, I'll upload some stuff as we go here, but I really, really hope this helps you out. Good luck this season.